So last week's episode ends on a cliffhanger with Yukine getting cut in half. And then this week's episode ends on a cliffhanger to where Kazuma gets sliced open, falls on the ground blighted, and Bishamon realizes what the fuck she just did. Wow, that reversal. And damn, the emotions are just running really high in Noragami this season. The cliffhangers are just... I've already said it, and I will say it again. The fucking cliffhangers are just... It's like they just pull a middle finger up at you, and they're like saying, fuck you. That's what the cliffhangers do. Because that right there, the way this episode ended, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So, my impressions is this. Kuga, he needs to get his ass whooped. Kuga needs to just get fucking whooped by Yato. Yato needs to go in, cut him up, and just kick his ass, and he's done. Because seeing what he has caused Bishamon, what he's caused Kazuma, what he's done to Yato, what he's done to Hiyori, I mean, he's caused so much fucking damage. And I mean, all these people that have died, even though they're, I guess you could consider all of the regulars that died in this episode, they were kind of fodder. It's still sad. It's pretty sad just seeing how all these people that died were considered family to Bishamon because, I mean, they were like her sons and daughters. So to see how this was done, it was pretty sad. Even though the characters, I wasn't emotionally attached to all those different people that were dying, it was just really good with setting up the tone of this arc and keeping the tone consistent with this episode, with the last episode. Because as we know, last week's episode's tone was really dark, along with really setting up the atmosphere that things are very dire and ominous. And to see how that tone consistently stayed over into this episode, that is kind of rare. And this is how a shonen should be in terms of keeping a consistent tone, along with telling some really good story with keeping characters really interesting. Because this right here is a perfect example of a good arc. This is a really good example of an arc. Regardless of your thoughts after Yukine getting cut in half and coming back, I still feel like this is one of the best ways to handle a shonen arc, especially the way it's being presented to us as the watcher, because this is one of the main reasons why I started Noragami. It's because the presentation of the series continued to astound me with how it uses its characters or setting, with gods, to the regular, to the blight. There's just so many different ways that this series presents itself that it keeps it really refreshing. And seeing how Bishamon, how she was fighting blighted, and you have it to where these regulars that, you know, turn into her weapons, she's just fighting with them, and they're getting blighted as well, and they're just screaming out to their master, like, please, release us, and she continues to fight, just ignoring their cries, and you see them, like, in pain, agony, and you see the blight going all over them. It just goes to show you how dire the situation is, and I love that so much. It was a great episode. I have to say, this episode was better than last week's episode. Definitely better than last week's episode, and definitely one of the best episodes yet of Noragami in general, not just Season 2, but all of the entirety of Season 1 and Season 2. This is definitely one of the best episodes because of the way it handled itself. Now, I will say, however, when it comes to the concept of the Regulus, you know, kind of becoming blessed and transforming, I guess this is a good concept because it keeps it to where we can know that our characters can get stronger. Because when it comes to shonen, you need to have it where some characters could possibly train or they can transform and get stronger over time. That's kind of how some series need to be handled, especially when it comes to shonen, like Battle Shonen. And to see how when a regular becomes so devoted to their god and they serve them and they're very loyal, they will transform into a blessed regular and power up. Here is the question I have, though, right now, because it doesn't really clarify it with this episode, and so I'm going to ask the question. Now, when a regular believes in their god, for instance, they have this loyalty to them, they can transform and gain a lot more power, because we see it to where Kazuma transforms into a nail to like a hairpin that's able to kind of navigate all the other regulars that Bishamon was using. So we saw a huge, vast improvement between the two. I mean, also Yukine, that used to be just one sword, he's now on 2 swords in 1. So it goes to show you how strong these blessed regular can get. But here's the question, can a regular transform again? That is something I wonder about. And also, can a regular lose its form? Can a regular de-evolve? Now, you're probably wondering, like, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about? The reason why I'm saying this is because Noragami it loves using loyalty, love, emotions with its characters. For instance, if a Regula has these conflicting emotions inside of them to where they feel like there's something wrong or they're feeling pain, sometimes they'll get blighted and they'll blight their god. And we know there's a huge connection between the two, so we know that's been present in Noragami since the beginning of the series. But I wonder, since Regula, if it believes in its god so much to where it becomes blessed, is there a possibility that the Regula could lose faith in the god, for instance, lose loyalty, and then downgrade from, like, a blessed Regula into the regular mode it used to be in? Is that possible? I wonder, because, I mean, it is possible to lose your loyalty to someone. It is. That's in human nature. People can lose loyalty. They can lose, their confidence in someone. And thinking about it like that, I wonder if it's possible if there's Regula in the past have lost their confidence for their god, even though they've transformed, and when they kind of go back into their original state, or is their state always like that? Now, another thing I want to ask is the other question, which is the obvious one, but I want to ask it regardless. I wonder if Regula can transform again. After they transform once into a blessed, I wonder if they can go a step higher. Can they get higher, or is there a possibility that they're just stuck there? Like, I mean, once they transform, that's it. Is that said and done? Because that is also a question I'm wondering about after watching this, because is there a possibility there could be other stages before they can get stronger? But that is my thoughts on that. So, yeah, you have it to where Hiyori, she snaps Yato out of his madness where he is about to kill Bishamon. Bishamon is acting like a child, and her entire rage, the way she's directing it towards Yato, I understand where she's coming from. She needed a person to kind of direct her anger towards before she can move on, and there's many people in this world that do that. I know people personally that have done stuff like that because they need to direct their anger or hatred at someone before they can take the first steps up the flight of stairs, and that's kind of what Bishamon did. She was directing all her anger, her sadness towards Yato before she could just move on. So, I know some are giving Bishamon hell, and I myself included, have given her a little bit of hell, but I do understand some of the things that she is going through, so hopefully she just gets her act together. She learns that Yato wasn't the real cause. He was trying to save her, and in this, arc we've seen, he's also trying to save her. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.